Hello everyone. So welcome to another video. Let's discuss trigonometry. So sikhumbula ukuthi lesson esagcina ngayo ku trigonometry bekuyi lesson 5 and then ngathumela this challenge question ukuthi siyenze. So kule video sizo discuss ama solutions wale challenge question. Sibone ukuthi siwa solve kanjani. Right? So ngaphandle ukuthi simoshe isikhathi sizothoma lapha ku question 2, right? So question 2 bathi if sin theta is equal to 0.4 and theta is an obtuse angle, determine cos theta and determine the square root of 21 times tan theta. So khumbula ukuthi on our previous lessons si discuss the trigonometric ratios on the Cartesian plane, right? And then sathi ukhumbula ukuthi on the first quadrant all the ratios are positive, on the second quadrant only sine is positive, third quadrant sathi only tan is positive, and then on the fourth quadrant only cos is positive. So this is the cast diagram. First quadrant all are positive, second quadrant all are negative except sine. Sine is the only one that is positive there. And then third quadrant only tan is positive, fourth quadrant only cos is positive, right? And then sathi if we have an angle theta rotating kule Cartesian plane, so define usin theta as the opposite side, which is the y, over the hypotenuse, which will be r, right? And then sathi cos theta will be x over r, and then tan theta sathi will be y over x. Ne? So now kule question basinikela ukuthi sin theta is equals to 0.4, right? And then babuye basitshela ukuthi theta is an obtuse angle. Notice ukuthi sin theta is positive, so we are either in this quadrant or in that quadrant, right? Sin theta is positive, so we are either in the first quadrant or the second quadrant, right? So okunye basitshela khona ukuthi theta is an obtuse angle. An obtuse angle is that angle which is greater than 90. So because ku first quadrant theta will be between 0 degrees and 90 degrees, and all the ratios are positive there, and then they tell us ukuthi sin theta is equals to 0.4, which is positive, but then basitshela ukuthi theta is an obtuse angle. An obtuse angle is greater than 90 degrees, which means we are not in the first quadrant, but we are in the second quadrant because sine is positive there, right? So sine is positive there, and then babuye basitshela ukuthi sine is equals to 0.4. So ukuthi sine is equals to 0.4. Now thathi calculator yakho lapho press u0.4, you will see ukuthi this is 2 over 5. If you say 2 over 5 is the same as 0.4, ne? So now notice ukuthi we have our trigonometric ratio in a fraction form. Therefore we can say sin theta is equals to opposite over hypotenuse. So from our triangle there we can say the hypotenuse is 5 units and the opposite side to theta is 2 units, right? So now they want us to calculate cos theta. So to calculate cos theta we will need the value of x, because cos theta is defined as x over r. We know r is 5, but then we don't know the value of x. So to calculate the value of x, we'll use the Theorem of Pythagoras, which says r squared is equals to x squared plus y squared. So we know r is 5, so we'll substitute 5 there, and then we don't know x, but then we know y. Y is 2. right? So we can calculate the value of x as the plus or minus the square root of 5 squared minus 2 squared, right? Which is the square root of 5 squared is 25, and then 2 squared is 4. So we have 25 minus 4, which is 21, right? Plus or minus. But because we are in the second quadrant, we sort of like fall in the negative x-axis, so x has to be negative there. So we can conclude with the x is equals to minus the square root of 21, right? So now we can calculate the value of cos theta by saying it's equals to x over r. X calculator is 21, r is 5, so that is the value of cos theta, right? So now we move to question B. Lapha bathi calculate the square root of 21 times tan theta, right? Remember ukuthi tan theta is defined as y over x, ne? And then we know ukuthi y is 2, x is minus the square root of 21, right? So when you punch this in your calculator or simplify, you will see ukuthi this expression is equals to minus 2, right? So question 2. We can now move on to question 3. So we can move on to question 3. Lapha question 3 bathini. Okay, let us copy question 3. Oops. Okay, so question 3 bathi, given that tan theta is equals to t over 2, where theta is between 0 and 90 degrees, determine the following in terms of t, right? They tell us that tan theta is equals to that, right? And then theta is between 0 and 90 degrees. So because theta is between 0 and 90 degrees, we are in the first quadrant, right? Because theta is between 0 and 90 degrees, we are in the first quadrant, right? And then they tell us ukuthi we have theta there. They tell us ukuthi tan theta is equals to t over 2. Remember, sitena define trigonometric ratios with Cartesian plane. Tan theta is y over x. So now y is t, x is 2. So we don't know the value of the hypotenuse. So to calculate the hypotenuse, we will have x squared plus y squared, ne? And then we know x is 2, and then y is t. So the hypotenuse will be equals to the square root of 4 plus t squared. That will be our hypotenuse. So now question A, they want us to calculate sec theta. Remember what is sec theta is the reciprocal of cos theta, and then with Cartesian plane we define cos theta as x over r. It means sec theta will be r over x, ne? So now we know the value of r is the square root of 4 plus t squared. The square root of 4 plus t squared. the square root of 4 plus t squared, and we know the value of x is 2. So sec theta will be equals to that expression. And then cot theta is the reciprocal of tan theta. And then we defined tan theta as y over x. So it means cos theta will be equals to x over y. We know the value of x is 2 and the value of y is t. So cot theta will be 2 over t. And then now we go to question C. So there they want us to calculate cos squared theta, which is the same as saying cos theta all squared, right? So exponent 2 inga confuse na lapha. It simply means we are squaring the trigonometric ratio of cos, right? So we'll have cos theta all to the power 2. So we know what cos theta is equals to x over r, right? That will be all squared. But because the value of x is 2, and then the value of r is the square root of 4 plus t squared, then cos squared theta will be equals to 4 over 4 plus t squared. 4 over 4 plus t squared. And then now we move on to question D. Lapho question D, we to calculate tan squared theta minus sec squared theta. We know what this is saying: tan theta all to the power 2 minus sec theta all to the power 2, right? Tan theta is t over 2. From there it's given it's t over 2 all squared minus sec theta is r over x. We have calculated sec theta already from question A. This is sec theta. So that is sec theta, which is equals to the square root of 4 plus t squared, 4 plus t squared divided by 2 all to the power 2, right? So we'll have t squared minus t squared over 4 minus 4 plus t squared over 4, and then we'll have t squared minus 4 minus t squared divided by 4, and then we'll have that and that will cancel. We'll have minus 4 over 4, and then our final answer is minus 1, right? Our final answer is minus 1 there. So that is question 3. Okay, then now we move on to question 4. So we move on to question 4. Okay, so question 4 UT. Given that 10 cos beta plus 8 is equals to 0, and beta is an angle between 180 degrees and 360, determine the value of cos beta, right? So lapho question A, we know what beta is between 180 degrees and 360. So here we'll have 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180, 270, and 360, right? So now they tell us ukuthi theta is somewhere between 180 and 360. So we are either in the third quadrant or the second or the fourth quadrant. But then if you look at the value of cos beta there, we know what cos is only positive on the first quadrant and on the fourth quadrant. But then since we are not focusing on the first and the second, we'll only consider the fourth quadrant and the third quadrant, right? So from this statement there, you will see what 10 cos beta plus 8 is equals to 0, implies that cos beta is equals to minus 8 over 10, which is equals to minus 4 over 5. So from this you see Uti cos beta is negative, right? So we know Uti from the cast diagram, in the first quadrant all the ratios are positive, second only sine, third only tan, and then fourth only cos, right? But then because beta is between 180 and 360, we are either in the third quadrant or the fourth quadrant. But because we cannot be in the fourth quadrant because the value of cos beta is negative, so it means we are in the third quadrant. We are in this quadrant here, so we are in that quadrant there, right? So now they tell us what cos beta is minus 4 over 5, right? So there we'll have minus 4 as the value of x and then 5 as our hypotenuse, right? So now question B, but calculate 3 over tan beta plus 2 sine squared beta, right? Now these are equals to 3 over tan beta is y over x, and then 2 sine squared beta is just sine beta squared, right? And we know what 3 over y over x plus 2, and then we know the value of sine beta is y over r, all squared. So we know the value of r is 5, we know the value of x is minus 4, but then we don't know the value of r, so we have to calculate the value of r there, right? So r will be equals to the square root of x squared plus y squared, right? X squared, x is minus 4, and then y is, oh sorry, we don't know the value of y, not the value of r. So we know the value of r and the value of x, we want the value of y. So the value of y will be the square root of r squared minus x squared, the theorem of Pythagoras, because we have a right angled triangle there, right? So now r squared, r is 5, so we want 5 squared minus x is minus 4, so the one is square root of 25 minus minus 16, which is the square root of 9, right? But because it's square root c plus of minus is square root, so now we'll have y is equals to plus of minus the square root of 9, but because we are in the third quadrant, so which means we are falling in the negative y-axis, so here the values of y are negative, so we'll have y as -3, right? We'll have the value of y as -3. Now we go back to this expression and substitute, right? Because I'm running out of space. We know the value of y is -3. The value of y is -3. Y is -3. Okay? So now sizo-substitute ama-values wethu lapha sengiqhubekisa this expression. Sizoba no-3 divided by, sithe x is -4 and then y is -3, sizoba no -3 over -4 plus 2 times y over r, y is -3, r is 5, all squared. And then you can substitute this in your calculator. 33 divided by -3 divided by -4, right? And then plus 2 times 3 -3 over 5, all squared. I think it's a mistake somewhere. Okay, so we have cos beta as -8 over 10, which is -4 over 5, right? And then we have 3 over tan beta. Sithe the value of r is 5, the value of x is -4, and then the value of y is -3. Ne? And then we know what tan beta is y over x, so that is y over x, y is -3, x is -4, plus 2 sine squared beta. So that is sine squared beta is just sine beta squared, right? And then sine beta is y over r, and then y over r is -3 over 5. Sorry, I think I made a mistake somewhere. -3 over 4 plus 2 times -3 over 5, all squared, right? And for the answer, I'm good. It's minus 82 over 25, right? -82 over -25. Sorry, -82 over 25. Yeah, if you substitute this in your calculator, you will get -82 over 25, right? So yeah, I think it is correct. I might have made a mistake somewhere, but no, I think it's correct. Yeah. Okay, so that is question 4. We can go on to question 5. Question 5, Sulelana. question 5. So question 5, but if sine theta is minus 15 over 17 and cos theta is negative, find the following without the use of a calculator. So statement lesa isilapha ku question 5 sithi if sine theta is minus 15 over 17, sikutshela ukuthi the trigonometric ratio of sine theta is negative, right? Because we have minus 15 over 17 there. So therefore we know that we are not in the first quadrant and we are also not in the second quadrant, because in these two quadrants sine theta is positive, right? They also tell us that cos theta is less than 0, which means cos theta is also negative. We know that cos theta is positive in the first quadrant and also in the fourth quadrant, so we are not in that quadrant, in quadrant 4, because cos theta is negative, which means we are in quadrant number 3. So they say sine theta is minus 15 over 17, that is opposite over hypotenuse. We have theta there. So to calculate cos theta, we know what it is, x over r. We know the value of r is 17, the value of y is minus 15, but then we don't know x. So to calculate x is what here, that is the square root of 17 squared minus 15 minus 15 squared, right? So let's apply theorem of Pythagoras, right? So because we are in the negative x-axis, our square root here will be negative. Because square root is plus or minus, we'll choose the negative one, right? So if you punch this in your calculator, you will get OT x is minus 8. X is minus 8, and then which means cos theta is minus 8 over 17. Okay? And then you go to question B, but tan theta there, tan theta says what it's y over x. So we know the value of y is minus 15 and the value of x is minus 8. So tan theta is 15 over 8. It's 15 over 8. Okay? And then C, but is cos squared theta plus sine squared theta. They want us to calculate this. So this is a trigonometric identity. I think it's introduced in grade 11. You'll know immediately from grade 11. Now for grade 11, this should give us the answer of 1. It's a trigonometric identity, right? So but then let us calculate. Cos squared theta is the same as cos theta all squared. Sine squared theta is the same as sine theta all squared, right? And then we know what cos theta is x over r, right? And then says what sine theta is y over r, right? And then if we substitute these values here, says what x is minus 8, r is 17, and y is minus 15 and r is 17. And then if you punch this in your calculator, so minus 8 divided by 17 all squared plus minus 15 divided by 17 all squared, you'll get ukuthi it is equals to 1. So this is equals to 1. Right? It's equals to 1. Right, so we are done with question 5. Let us create space for question 6. So our last question is question 6. Question 6, but to find the value of sine A plus cos A without using a calculator, given that sine 13 sine A minus 12 is 0, where A cos A is negative. So again, we have our Cartesian plane. In our Cartesian plane, in the first quadrant, all the ratios are positive, but because cos A is negative, it means we are not in the first quadrant, right? Also, we are not in the fourth quadrant, because in these two quadrants cos is positive, right? So now we have to see between the third quadrant, between the second and the third quadrant, which quadrant are we in? So looking at this given statement that 13 sine A minus 12 is equals to 0. If you make sine A the subject of the formula, we'll see what is sine A is equals to 12 over 13, which is greater than 0, which is positive. Therefore, we are in the second quadrant, because here sine is negative in the third quadrant, right? So now we know what we are in the second quadrant. So our right angled triangle will be there, and then we know sine A is opposite over hypotenuse, so we'll have the angle A, opposite side is 12 units, the hypotenuse is 13, right? And then they want us to calculate sine A plus cos A, right? So sine A says it has to be y over r, cos A has to be x over r, but then we know the value of y is 12, the value of r we know is 13, we don't know the value of x. So to calculate the value of x, we use the theorem of Pythagoras again. We see what we are in the negative x-axis, so our square root will be negative. So 1 is square root of 13 squared minus 12 squared, which is equals to 13 squared minus 12 squared, which is equal to 5. So x is equals to minus 5, right? So now we can calculate our ratio there, the summation of our two ratios. Sine A is y over r, y is 12, r is 13, and then cos A is x over r, x is minus 5, and then r is 13. So now you can punch this in your calculator. You will have 12 minus 5 all over 13, that is 7 over 13, and then you are done, right? So that is it for this video. Thumela text lapho WhatsApp if you have questions, or if unala ungazwisisi khona, so that ngazama ukuthi explain better. So now from ama video alandelayo, we will start looking at past question papers, and then send ama question with trigonometry there. Yeah, so that is it for this video. Okay.